Hello, my friends. Reverend Catherine Bonin here. It's a joy to be with you this Super Bowl Sunday, and I'm going to be providing your reading. But because it's a little bit heavy, Reverend Larry asked me to start with a joke. So here we go. A woman had tickets on the 50-yard line at the Super Bowl. She sat down, and the seat next to her was empty. And behind her, there was a man who was noticing that there was an empty seat, and he thought, how could there be a seat to the Super Bowl empty? Been sold out for months. So he watched and no one came to sit in the seat. So at the halftime, he came down to her and he said, "Excuse me, ma'am, but is this seat empty?" And she said, "Well, that actually used to be my seat. I used to come here with my husband. We were married since 1965, but he passed away." And the man said, "Couldn't you have invited a friend to come with you?" And she said, "Well, I guess I could have, but they're all at the funeral." So here we go. Our reading is an excerpt from The Untethered Soul, Chapter 4, entitled The Lucid Self. And this is to support the ongoing series of this wonderful book. And the reading is, the best way to learn about consciousness is through your own direct experience. For example, you know very well that your consciousness can be aware of a wide field of objects, or it can be so focused on one thing that you're unaware of anything else. This is what happens when you get lost in thought. You can be reading and then suddenly you're not reading anymore. It happens all the time. You just start thinking about something else. Outside objects or mental thoughts can catch your attention at any time, but it's still the same awareness, whether it's focused on the outside or on your inner thoughts. The key is that consciousness has the ability to concentrate on different things. The subject consciousness has the ability to selectively focus awareness on specific objects. If you step back, you can clearly see that objects are constantly passing before you at three levels: mental, emotional, and physical. When you're not centered, your consciousness invariably gets attracted towards one or more of those objects and focuses on them. If it concentrates enough, your sense of awareness loses itself in the object. It's no longer aware that it's aware of the object. It just becomes object conscious. Have you ever noticed that when you're deeply absorbed in watching television, you have no awareness of where you're sitting or what else is going on in the room? The TV analogy is a perfect example for examining how our center of consciousness can shift from awareness of self to being lost in the objects we're focused on. The difference is that instead of sitting in your living room getting absorbed in the television, you're sitting in the center of your consciousness, getting absorbed in the screens of your mind, in the emotions, and in the outside images. And when you concentrate on the world of physical senses, it draws you in. Then your emotional and mental reactions draw you in even further. At that point, you're no longer sitting in the centered self. You are absorbed in the inner show that you are watching.